Now I'm going to be speaking with Samina Rizwan, who's the country head of the Oracle Corporation in Pakistan, and get her perspective on corporate governance. She is on the board of many companies, so it'll be very interesting to see what she has to say. Samina Rizwan, thank you for being part of the corporate governance program.
Thank you for having me.
In addition to having this responsible position with Oracle, you are also a director of Ushali Bank and also on the board of the Competitiveness Support Fund, CSF.
Yes,
I'm interested in knowing, first of all, why, with all your responsibilities, you choose to be on other boards, and then we'll talk about, I suppose, what value you bring to some of these boards.
Thank you very much for having me, Amir. I'm very happy to be here. Yes, the workload at Oracle is not small. It's a 24/7 kind of a job. But I think being on a board is something that responsible citizens must look at. And if there's any aspect of value or any kind of advantage that you can bring to an organization, then I think it's your duty to not say no when you can spare the time correctly and appropriately to contribute. So for me, selecting or agreeing to be on a certain number of boards for certain companies is a matter of my return of value, my contribution to the organization or the country at large.
And you talked about training of board members. This is an initiative that the International Finance Corporation has brought to Pakistan, which is, I suppose, putting the prospective or existing directors through a training process, then giving them an accreditation so they understand what their role is about. You're going through that process. How have you found that?
Yes, absolutely. The need of the hour. I'm riveted by the series. I commend and congratulate all of the organizations that are behind it, the IFC, the PICG, the State Bank Governor has been a great supporter of this. The SECP, I believe, has been greatly supporting it. I think it is absolutely mandatory for every board member to, even if they've been on several boards, even if they've got lots of professional experience, to go through the board development series, because you learn so much. And I think for rookie board members or those aspiring to be on boards, this is an absolute must.
Setting up corporate governance systems is quite a time-consuming task, and then keeping them going. How can technology actually help us to improve these systems and, make it easier?
Amir, I believe that over the next several decades, this is going to be closest to every CEO and CIO and CTO's heart. The matter of making their organization compliant, fulfilling the requirements of, let's say, Sarbanes-Oxley or Basel or risk management of any kind, making their financial books secure, clean, the data being resident and easily accessible, the visibility being created for the board and for the regulators, etc. So this is going to be absolutely the most important top priority out there over the next several years. It's hard to do by hand. It has to be done using some sort of technology. And the good news is that there are many organizations out there, including mine, which is Oracle Corporation, that are providing the requisite solutions, and they're there to be had. You have to move up to that level, and it starts today or yesterday maybe.
So the technology already exists, especially for, would you say, the larger organizations, or can the smaller organizations take advantage of it?
See, this is the thing, that across the world now, Sarbanes-Oxley has, you have to comply according to the rules of the Act as early as possible, and if you're market capped at a certain level, you should have done it 3 years ago. Pakistan, thankfully, has some time, because many of our largest companies are still medium-sized compared to the international world. So I think that the solutions are there for small companies, from medium companies and large enterprises. It depends upon the kind of investment you are ready to make. Most importantly, it is important for the C-level executives to understand that these solutions are now packaged and they're available, and the investment is worth the money that they put into it.
So you do not need to reinvent the wheel. The solution's already been found. And one of the advantages we have in Pakistan sometimes, from the fact that we are always a little bit behind what's happening out in the developed world, is the solutions are developed and they're already there, as you're saying.
Yes, so leapfrogging is a great advantage that we have. You don't have to do the wires, you can go wireless. That's the technology side of things. In terms of solutions, The world has already developed Basel solutions. The world is working in the banking sector to clean up the data. Oracle Corporation provides software such as the Internal Controls Manager, which is developed based upon Sarbanes-Oxley rules and regulations. So you could pick it up and plonk it in your organization, and provided, of course, you've done all of the earlier work, and it could work for you.
Samina Rizwan, thank you very much for being part of the Corporate Governance Program. That was Samina Rizwan, the country head of Oracle Corporation, joining me on the Corporate Governance Program and giving her perspective on the state of corporate governance in Pakistan. Now, let's go and get another perspective on corporate governance, this time from Mr. Zafar Halim, the CEO of Pak Refinery Limited. Mr. Zafar Halim, thank you very much for joining us on the Corporate Governance Program.
You're welcome.
Mr. Halim, can you give me your perspective on the corporate governance and its importance for companies in Pakistan?
Our governance sector, actually, it is good that this thing has come to Pakistan, because we were already following this thing. That we start with, of course, a vision and a mission statement, which are then taken to the board, and board approves that mission, as well as the objectives for the strategic objectives for the next year. We take it to the board, and board participates in that. And as you know, our board has members who are, since they are not from PRL itself, they are either representing Shell, PSO, Chevron, or Daud Group, and even, from the independent also, we have people like Ardeshir Kawasi and, President of National Bank of Pakistan, Ali Raza. So they are all people who are, convinced that corporate governance is something which is good for the company.
Can you give me a little bit of information on the makeup of your board? Especially, I'm interested to know what role the independent directors are playing on your board.
Basically, this is their role, to see that everything which is being done is according to, it's open and it is transparent. The management is something which is not very cozy amongst themselves. So there are, the financial statements and everything is those information which is made public, which public should, make use of it in the right way, so that they really understand how the company is, what is the financial strength of the company. Of course, it started with Enron, but so that we are not capitalizing something which should be operating expenses and all those things. And in addition, of course, there is a discipline which they have to overlook, that there is no certain practices which are some favoritism or those sort of things. Automatically they are eliminated.
Do you think there are benefits in having independent directors on your board of directors?
Yes, initially it appeared to me, of course, as I think to everyone, that why they are they are taking so much interest in that. But I think it is, in the long term, if you are really performing well, and if you want to perform well, you would like them to really appreciate and understand. So there is a scorecard which is there every year, which the board of directors and HR committee, they agree with me, and then in the end we are rewarded, not only myself, but there is a business performance factor, which is my scorecard, which then gives the performance bonus to the whole employees. And that performance factor is derived from this performance. So I think it is a good thing that this system, which is 6 monthly, there is monitoring, and then end of the year they evaluate all those performance criteria against the standard measurable performance. So it's not just a subjective thing that somebody is not happy with you. Even if they are not happy, they have to see actual performance and the numbers. So it is good.
Mr. Zafar Halim, thank you for being part of the Corporate Governance Program on Business Plus. That was Mr. Zafar Halim, the CEO of Pak Refinery, giving us his perspective.